Hello, good morning. This is Tracy Stewart. I'm a program specialist for Girl Scouts Spirit of Nebraska, and I work out of our Lincoln, Nebraska office. So thank you so much for joining us today on the Girl Scouts at Home program. This is pretty cool. So, we're going to be talking about trucking, big rigs, the big 18 wheelers. And, when you think about that, you probably think mostly, men, which is probably the case. However, today this is cool because you're going to hear from 5 different women who work in the trucking industry and they do various things. So we're going to hear from an executive, we're going to hear from a dispatcher, we're going to hear from an actual truck driver, you're going to hear from a woman who is a safety manager, and then you're also going to hear from a woman who is a state patrol officer who, at those way stations that you see, she works there. So it's pretty cool. The women have recorded these videos, and so you'll just have an opportunity to watch them and be on the lookout for some more programs related to the trucking industry and girls and women getting involved in that. So I'm excited for you to check these out and enjoy. Stay safe, stay healthy, get outside, be active. Have a great day, everybody.
My name is Crystal Anderson, and I'm married and have 6 children. I also have 3 cats. I have 5 dogs and tons of chickens and ducks running around my house. And I wanted to talk to you today a little bit about trucking. When I was a little girl, my dad drove truck. And I can remember I must have been about 4 years old. He brought the truck home and he parked it in front of our house. And it was so big, and it had this great big trailer on the back of it. And I begged and begged until my dad let me have a ride in that truck. And it was probably only around the block. It wasn't very far, but I felt like I was on top of the world because I was clear up in the air, higher than anyone else. As I went on to school and become a little bit older, I still remembered riding in that truck with my dad. And my brothers and sisters and I, when we were driving down the highway with Mom and Dad, we would pump our arms and get the drivers to honk their horns, and we would all cheer and count who got the most honks from drivers. And as I continued, I married a truck driver. And through all that time, he would be out on the road seeing all kinds of exciting things, and I would be at home. Well, I had never left Nebraska or Iowa. And one day he come home and he said, "How would you like to learn how to drive truck?" So from there on, I learned how to drive truck. We traveled all over the country. We got to meet some fantastic people out there. Got to see deserts and oceans and mountains, and it was just so fantastic. I'll just never forget my time out there. We had the CB radios, and we'd actually do convoys back there going from the Midwest out to the West Coast. So you'd be traveling with a bunch of truck drivers together and make great friends. Stop and have your meals together and talk, and some of them had pets, so you'd meet their pets. Well, as time went by, we decided that we wanted a family. We wanted some children. So in doing that, it meant that I would need to get off the road and not drive truck. And we agreed that was the best thing for our family. So when we did that, I went to college. When I got out of college, I went to work in a trucking company. Where else? That still kept me around all the people. Trucking people, whether they're in the office or whether they're the drivers out on the road or whether they're mechanics, they're a special type of person. They love people. They love to be around people. They help people. It is just such a life in itself. You can see the world through the eyes of a truck driver or being a truck driver. The other jobs, once I got out of college, I went to work in safety. And your job in safety is just what it says. You keep people, excuse me, you keep people safe. You don't want them getting injured or falling out of a truck or getting involved in an accident. Or if a mechanic, you don't want them getting hurt back in the shop. So that's just what safety is. Then there's also jobs like they call it human resources. That's hiring people. So you go out and you find the right person for the job. You find people that want to drive truck or work in the office, and you hire those people. There's so many jobs in transportation that are open and available to people. Environmental, you hear about environmental and how important it is to protect our earth. There's people in trucking that protect the environment. They make sure that the fuel that the trucks use and the oil that they use are disposed of properly so they don't get on the ground and hurt the ground. You have to route people. To drive a truck, you have to know which roads you can go on, because some trucks can't go on all of the roads. You see those bridges, those little bridges that a car goes over? Truck can't go over those. So there's people that actually route the trucks to make sure that they go on the right road. Trucking is such a fantastic industry, and more so for women are becoming more and more involved in transportation. And you can grow. There's so many opportunities for you out there. I am currently the owner of a trucking company with my husband, and he drives still. I keep my license because one of these days I may go back out there and drive again. I loved it that much.
Actually, my dad was a truck driver, so I was raised around trucking my whole life.
Do you have any stories of going into the truck with your dad on a trip?
Oh, yeah. I always got to go in the summer for 1 week, and always to places I'd never been, as far as like, I always thought Kansas was fun and Texas.
What were you delivering?
He was a grain hopper. So the grain going into the elevators, we sang, we talked a lot. I always thought it was kind of fun to like take a nap when the truck was going. I don't know why. My dad had a love for it, and he actually drove a truck since he was 16 years old and retired. So it's just always been, and I knew the languages. I mean, there's terminology, I guess, that goes with this, that I got to go in the summer, and then when I wasn't in school, and then I got to go at Christmas time. That was really nice, because all the Christmas lights, and he seemed to know where to kind of find them. So I had been a nurse. Just I wanted something new, something interesting. You know, I'd been a nurse for over 24 years, so I decided I needed to give this a try after my dad had passed away. I don't know, I just had I don't know, something in my heart just said, try it. And there was an ad, and I went for it. We got a driver a load, sent him to this island, and then he had to get on a ferry with the truck and go across the water to get to the island to deliver a load of hominy. He was he wasn't sure. Great pictures and great stories, and he's seen some marine life. He said he'd go back after he had done it, away from their families. It's long days. It can be very hard work, and you got to try to help them where you can help them, and try to make life as easy as you can. I spend probably 7.5 hours a day on the phone. In a given day, it can be anywhere from 150 to 250 phone calls a day. I get calls, I get calls and I receive calls from, or receive and make phone calls to nearly every state, depending on where my trucks are and where I need to load them. The longest I've ever had anybody stuck was 1 week in Wyoming. I had a driver in Cheyenne trying to get back to Nebraska, and it was snow blizzard, and he got into the truck stop, and about every other day they would open it up a little bit and tell him they could go. For 4 days he didn't make it out of the driveway. He had to turn around and go back because they closed down the interstate. So he spent a week in Cheyenne trying to get back to Nebraska. Just talked to him. We then, of course, we have our fuel cards. So you put some money, you make sure they have money so they can go in and get food, take care of their necessities as best you can. Several times I have drivers call me and they've got a cold and what do I do? Or they have an earache and what do I do? Or something's not feeling right. And then I've helped them, like if my grandson's around, but he could see what my computer, and he's very intrigued with the software we have because I can actually see exactly where my trucks are. I can see out their front window, not them. I can't see the driver, but I can see out their front window. He's very intrigued by that. But yes, I do too. I think truck drivers are some of the most genuine people out there. For the most part, they're easy to work with. I find the job very rewarding in that you always feel like you have a friend. They're always there for you.
Hi, my name is Sylvia Heinrich and I work for Creek Carrier Corporation. I've been driving for over 8 years. This morning I started my day at around 6 o'clock in the morning. I went from Lincoln, Nebraska to North Platte, Nebraska to pick up a load for Walmart stores. On my way there, it was such a beautiful day today. The best thing about my day is just to be able to see so much of the beauty on the road, and then you always come across nice people along the way at the truck stops, the rest areas. The people that clean the restrooms at the rest areas are very nice. I've been doing this for a year and a half, so I get to know a lot of interesting people, but a lot of them already know me by name, and that's pretty nice. I really enjoy that. When I get to the DC distribution center for Walmart, I drop my empty trailer and then I pick up my loaded trailer, and then I start my way back to Lincoln or Omaha. Once I get to the stores, I usually have 3 stores, and I go one by one delivering the product. People at the stores already know me by name, so it goes so nice and smooth. My whole day goes pretty smooth, mainly because I already know what I'm doing and I already know the procedure at every place that I go. I really love driving. This is the best job ever.
There you go. On I-29.
On I-29, I was in Des Moines, Iowa. I was heading north on I-29, and I saw a vehicle that was acting a little weird, going from one lane to another without putting any signals. And we have this thing called On Guard over here that it shows me the speed limit of the vehicle that's in front. So I was staying a little behind and I was checking the speed, and I'm like, okay, it was going like too slow and then too fast, and I'm like, something's wrong. I stayed behind. I saw a few people that almost got run over, and person came to a complete stop right on the interstate. Complete stop, but it was about 3 in the morning. That was scary. I pretty much stopped right behind the vehicle, got the information, called the police, and I told them, you guys need to check this. Maybe this person fell asleep on the wheel, maybe was drunk. So that was really scary.
Jeez. Tell me about being a lady in trucking and how it's kind of fun.
Well, the fun part, I enjoy it every time, is when I go to customers and they don't think that I know what I'm doing, and then I just surprise them every time, and just to see their faces, it's pretty fun every time. Or when I'm going to make a right turn, and then people in vehicles look at me and see I'm a female, and then they're so scared, and then I just go in, take care of, I finish my turn, and they're surprised. People are not really expecting a female driver to know how to drive a semi. It's kind of, they're expecting that more from a man, but not from a female. So it's pretty interesting, and it's funny every time.
And you see your kids every night?
Yes.
Tell me about your kids.
Well, they're already adults. My oldest one, he is 25 years old. He got a degree in business, but he decided to drive a truck.
Oh, yeah.
So he works for another company. He's been doing that for about 7 months now. And then the second of my kids, his name is Solsley. He is in the National Guard. He's 6 years are almost up, and he's also a truck driver for the National Guard, and also a truck driver for Cisco. And he's been doing that since he graduated from high school. And then after that, I got my daughter. She works at a daycare. She really likes that, and she's going to college so that she can, because she really enjoys kids, so for early child development. And then my youngest one, he's 20 years old, and he also works at a daycare, and he's also going to go to school for that, for early child development.
Did you ever take them along on rides when they were younger?
Yes.
What was that like?
The first one that went with me was my youngest one. He was only 11 years old, and I was a rookie. I only had 3 months of experience. We went through, from here in Lincoln, we went through Utah, and then we picked up a load in Utah going to Pueblo, Colorado. So we went through the Rocky Mountains, and he hated it. He was so scared because we went through really bad mountains. And being a rookie, I was scared myself. But many times I took them, I picked them up in Florida because we have family in Florida. So we went to Florida, California. I've been pretty much all over the country with my kids, one at a time. But
That sounds like fun.
Yes.
I'm Vanessa Martinez. I'm a safety manager with Distribution Inc. here in Lincoln, Nebraska. I am responsible for about 40 people, just ensuring that they're safe and they're able to go home every night. I am proud of being able to do that. That's very big for each family individually. I've heard many stories, but one in particular, I have an employee here, being a single dad of 3 little ones, all within the age of 7, 5, and 2. I just could not imagine them not having a daddy to take care of them every night, tuck them into bed. So making sure that he is safe, has the knowledge, just to make sure he can go home every night. And that's kind of what makes me really proud, to be able to train these people, guide them through difficult times, just so they are able to go home to their families and be safe. I think it's funny that I will randomly go out into the warehouse and I start inspecting these guys. I'm like, hey, where's your forklift inspection? That just ensures me that they checked their equipment for the day, making sure that whatever they're driving, everything's working properly, because if it's not, it could be a very dangerous situation. They just think it's funny now. At first I did get a couple eye rolls, but now it kind of just gets them ready. They know when I come around that they should have that done, and then just now it's more of a, hey, look what I have, versus a, oh, I forgot. I was in the process of graduating. I had about a year left. Kind of just being an HR and safety is kind of just links all together, whether it's the safety aspect and then the HR part, making sure our employees are here every day, make sure they're trained properly. It all kind of just links together. So about a year in, I graduated, and it's been pretty great. I went to the University of Nebraska Wesleyan, and then that's a bachelor's degree, so that was about 4 years. I was hoping to be a nurse. Just kind of same, it kind of fits in with the safety part, just ensuring that these people are safe and taken care of. So it's kind of just a natural thing that comes to me.
What's your favorite Girl Scout cookie?
The lemonades.
Wow.
Those are delicious.
Hi, I'm Trooper Chris Hunzecker with the Nebraska State Patrol. I'm here to talk to you a little bit about what I do. So I work at a weigh station here in Nebraska, and I look at trucks, watch their weights, and to make sure that they're operating on the road safely. So some of the things I watch for are equipment things, lighting, brakes, listen for air leaks. I check drivers' paperwork and their hours of service and make sure they're operating properly. You know, I've seen a lot of things over the years, and one time I helped at a scene where some equipment on a truck had failed and some cows had gotten out on the road. So we had to, get the cows off the road so that nobody got hurt. But we want to prevent those things, and so that's what we're doing, is sitting out here watching as trucks go by, making sure that things are operating properly. And sometimes we do more in-depth inspections where we actually crawl underneath the trucks and measure their brakes and check all the equipment that's necessary. And one of our biggest things is talking to the drivers. You know, they're out there working hard, but they have certain regulations they have to comply with, and so we make sure that they're staying within their hours that they can work, doing all the things that they're required to do. Just like when you're at home and during school and you have homework and things you have to do, and you have certain times that you have to get stuff done, they have things that they have to do as part of their job, and so we make sure that they're getting those done and that they're doing stuff in the appropriate amount of time.